We're going to move into game number 2, though. As we said, Eager, 1 game already. Should they win the second game here versus Denial, they're going to move up into seed number 2 for DreamHack.
Which is going to be important to see where they end up, whether they're going to be stuck with Enemy on the NA side of the bracket if they remain number 3, or if they go into the second seed, they're going to be with Panthera.
Denial going to get first pick on the left-hand side. Order, so they will ban out the Circuit. Team Eager, as we said, repeatedly bans out Thor and Naja over and over again. I wonder if we see the Thor and Susano ban here.
Depending on how Eager has been scrimming against Susano, whether or not we're going to see this ban. If they're very comfortable facing the Susano, then they're going to leave it open. It seems like Eager is very comfortable. Mass did play Susano earlier on, so more than likely going to pick it here for Denial.
And it will be the Raijin, not the Susano pick. And I like Eager deviating from their normal bans here and going the way of Guan Yu instead of Susano. Guan Yu impacts the game from minute 1 to minute whenever the game ends, right? We don't really have a hard end. He's just able to assist the early game laning phase when it's a little bit tough and things are more dire, and then late game team fights just tilt in your favor. By banning him out and leaving the Naja on the table, Mass doesn't have a strong Naja, so he's going to opt for the Hun Batz. Love that Guan ban.
A lot of displacement right now out of Denial with just those 2 picks already. The Hun Batz, Fear No Evil, the Raijin, Drums of War as well is going to be able to just constantly make people run around in directions that they don't want to, and the Bacchus belly flop to boot.
Now you want to talk about walking in directions you don't want to. That's exactly what Intoxicate's going to do. So Team Eager now, they want to find something to supplement their Athena and Susano, and the Burst Zeus will come out in the mid lane. Still waiting on a solo laner and a hunter for Team Eager. For Denial, we're more looking for a hunter and, well, a solo later.
So last game, Eager had a lot of CC in the mid lane jungle combination with a lot of just area of effect control between their support. This time around, they're going for the double setup for their mid laner, so it's going to be a very hyper carry mid mage for TheBest going into this game.
Team Eager banned out the Artemis that was played last time around, and they're going to take away Benji's Amaterasu. I personally think that Benji is one of the best, if not the best, Amaterasu players in the world. So taking that away from him, certainly going to be a strong look. Denial, on the other hand, focus completely on Zapman. Take away his last choice. Take away the late game Shibalanke, and we're going to see the Cupid.
We're going to see the Cupid paired up with Aror's Athena. It should be a very aggressive laning phase right now. And you know what's more aggressive than a Cupid?
2 Bacchus.
Double Bacchus coming out of Denial is the most aggressive thing I've ever seen. Imagine 1 belly flop, 2 belly flops, 1 Intoxicate, 2nd Intoxicate.
Everybody's drunk pretty much on Denial.
It's a party.
And the 3rd Bacchus! Bingo! We're playing Bacchus Bingo here, folks. We're going to see 3 Bacchuses on Denial, 1 in the mid lane, 1 in support, and 1 also playing Hunter. Should be very interesting. If you guys don't know, I'm just kidding. There's a problem going on. We're going to fix it up. Sun Wukong will be the solo lane, and Ho Yi will be the Hunter. But I'm totally down to see 3 Bacchuses.
Why don't we just get 5 Bacchuses on both sides?
Would you call it Bacchi? Like octopi? Right? You see where I'm coming from?
Mm-hmm. And some other eyes.
What would you call a fleet of Bacchuses?
I don't even know
right now.
A barrel of Bacchi.
Yeah, you call it a barrel of Bacchi. That actually sounds like a fantastic appetizer. As game 1 was, moving into game number 2, Eager, their final lineup will be Divios on Ravana in the solo lane, djpernicus in the jungle on the new god Susano, who has seen a lot of recent success. TheBest on one of his better gods, Zeus. And then the dual lane will be Aror and the storied Cupid from Zapman. Denial will be short lane of Benji on Sun Wukong. The double monkey comp comes out. Mass going to be lurking in the jungle on that Hun Batz. Xeno on Raijin. And then Shadowq and Vetium will be on 1 Bacchus and a Ho Yi.
Not 2, not 3, just 1, unfortunately, for this game. I like the aggression style from Eager as well. Going red pot on the Susano, going purple pot on the Zeus, going to be very aggressive in the laning phase, going into the mid-harpy fights as well. Finding the pull from Susano into the Zeus chain lining is going to be very devastating for whoever gets caught by Denial.
For Denial, on the other hand, they've got a lot of options here. Big counter-engage coming out from Mask. Denial ready to go bananas, really, at any point in time. They're just looking to monkey around this entire match. Benji and Hun Batz, Mask, definitely going to combine for a lot of nonsense in the jungle.
They're definitely going bananas, but they're not ain't no holler back girl.
My girl Gwen, you know she's going on tour?
Yeah.
Eve.
Oh.
The old Let Me Blow Your Mind group. And Eager, looking to get aggressive, coming into the enemy jungle. Blue buff not taken just yet by Denial, and realizing they just can't hang out, you're going to see Mask make the rotation over to mid lane. Zeus getting the better of Raijin thus far. So it's 1v2 over there in the solo. Eager will recognize, and they'll head over to the blue and take advantage.
Eager started with the right side mid Harpies into the invade, which prevents Denial from doing their own blue. And if you're a Sun Wukong, you need that blue buff for the laning phase. And Mask having to concede that just to try to get the left side mid Harpies, but they don't even get it in response anyway. It's Eager who find both mid Harpies right now and stealing a blue buff away from Benji.
Eager will also go ahead and clean up the elementals, and that's why we see that specific invade come out this game. It's not, hey, Eager, let's invade, like we used to see it. Specifically, he's playing a Sun Wukong. He absolutely needs that blue buff because Sun Wukong tends to spam his abilities a whole bunch to clear the wave. So we're going to try our best to neutralize this specific pick rather than have a shotgun strategy for all approaches. I love how specific that gets.
And right now, Denial could have capitalized on that by pushing the mid wave and then looking for the speed buff invade, because obviously djpernicus didn't have his speed buff during that invade, and Denial should have recognized that by optimizing their pathing into the Eager's jungle side.
Denial now on their back foot in the long lane at least, but don't expect this to happen for long. Hou-Yi definitely one of the stronger hunters as the game gets a little bit later. Cupid, however, hits his stride around mid-game, I would say. Ability-based and a lot of burst potential.
And the beauty of Cupid in laning phase in the 1v1, if you take away both supports, he's always going to force the purification out of enemy hunter if they want to use their escape. Unless you have a CC immune ult, but Hou-Yi doesn't, so he's going to always have to pop the purification if he wants to run away from the Fields of Love.
And keep in mind that Fields of Love, the cripple is no joke against. Benji won't have animals available. Mast won't be able to jump out, but he likely will jump into that nonsense. Shadowq won't be able to jump out either. Vetium as well. So 4 out of 5 of the players on Denial are going to be severely smoked out by that Cupid ultimate, which makes it a fantastic choice for getting rid of some of these objectives.
And djpernicus trying to find the engage. Mask is going to jump away. djpernicus doing a lot of damage. Not finding a kill, but Mask is going to have to be very careful if he wants to stay in the laning phase, as Zeus still has his ultimate available.
The way Raijin animation looks when he teleports, it looked like the ultimate out of DJ knocked him into the sky and he just never came down. And I think a lot of people at home were sitting there going, when's he coming down, Bob? Oh, he's under the tower already. All right.
The double lightning.
Really fun interaction there. The lightning storm coming out from DJ on top of Xeno. Now, Xenotronics has... I am expecting Xeno to really go off this game totally. He's on a god that just allows him to blow people up, and that's what we've seen the past couple of weeks.
He's going to need to right now, as Eager's going to invade the speed buff right now, as Benji is going to spot it, is going to call it for his team, but it's only Benji around the corner, as there's a red buff for 4 members of Denial.
Yeah, they're going to make sure that the red buff is taken out with how aggressive Eager has been. They definitely don't want any chance of sharing that buff.
And now right side mid Harpies also go into the favor of Eager. Blue buff is respawning very soon. Eager having the timer of that available to them. And djpernicus is making his way down there.
Left-hand Harpies will be spawning very soon as well. You can see Shadowq making his placement here. But Athena is going to be placed aggressively. Shadowq decides not to go for it. Joins his 3v3 team in the middle of the lane.
And because the speed buff and the blue buff are still down for Eager, they're able to make these aggressive plays without giving back anything in return. Because of the fact that Denial didn't capitalize it on it earlier, favors Eager very heavily. Now already controlling a very comfortable lead right now, 1.2k gold at the 4-minute mark without Goldfury being down yet.
A lot of aggression again in the solo lane, but this is what you expect out of the Raven, specifically Divios' Raven. Divios brought this character back. Now everybody kind of plays him, but Raven is just one big bully in the lane.
And that's why exactly they invaded Eager, wanted to prevent Benji from being able to stabilize himself in laning phase. Because as Sun Wukong, you can still kind of negate the loss by clearing the archers once the wave enters your tower. But without that blue buff, you might lose those archers as well.
Very interesting player damage. You can see it's Raven, and DJ hits somebody once or twice. That's it.
There's been no action out of any other side, and right now the way Susano has been basically leading the charge right now puts Eager in a very good spot.
How do you do 18 damage as a Cupid? Your basic's going to hit for 39.
The throwing dagger.
The throwing dagger cleave hits for 18. Yeah. That's what it'll, yeah.
That'll do it.
Wow.
But look at both supports having 0 damage. They're just like, yo, what's up?
Just not getting aggressive.
And right now, Shadowq just going to sit in the mid lane right now currently as the wave is going to hit. Eager going to get caught is djpernicus, but he's just going to use his Jetstream out.
Shadowq doesn't find the stun. So 3 players on Eager matched up here in the mid lane. Half HP for djpernicus. He doesn't seem to mind, however, as Eager going to go into the jungle. Making the rotation to Zapman, this looks like it might be a surprise Gold Fury, or at least a gank near the Gold Fury area. Eager tried to make the group up happen, but didn't happen so fast.
Whenever you push the wave in the side lanes, whether you're solo or the hunter position, it's always important to just put yourself into the jungle, basically fluster the communication of the enemy team, and whether or not you're actually doing Gold Fury, they're going to think that you're somewhere there.
And right now, Eager actually is doing Gold Fury. All of the ultimates come out. Vetium tries to give it a shot, but it will go the way of Eager. Shadowq winds up taking Aurora out because of it, and there's the ultimate from DJ on the backside. TheBest in some trouble now. Overhand smash and the 1-2 punch. Xenotronics takes out his opposition right in the mid lane, so 2 deaths for 1 Gold Fury. Eager still in the lead by 1,500.
Now the question is, what is Denial going to get out of this? However, Divios on the response is going to take away the speed buff yet again away from Denial. So getting the Gold Fury, taking away the speed buff, losing 2 members is pretty troublesome, but when you're not giving anything back in return, whether it's your own buffs or whether it's towers, this is a good spot to be in if you're Eager.
Divios now getting stunned out, but Shadowq's all by himself. So just a little bit of extra damage going the way of the support for Denial. Then you'll see the orange dogs go ahead and clear up those right-hand harpies. Another invade coming out from Eager. Really want to deny this red buff and give it over to Zapman.
Eager have been all over the place for invades right now, taking away the speed twice, the blue buff twice as well. Now the red buff for the first time, taking the first Gold Fury of the game. Conceding 2 kills doesn't really matter when you're able to control the enemy buffs and your own.
Exactly. So not only that, but Zeus is a character that you want to give the red buff to. But Zapman's going to take it anyway. Late in the game, I think we'll see Zeus get it a little bit later once more of the items come online. But as we said, Cupid, very successful in the mid game. There's a taunt coming out from Aror on a Shadowq. He's separated by the rest of the team, 1v3. But ultimately, the support will bounce his way on out. And Batz going to join and clear up these back camps.
And during all that, Eager was just trying to find Zapman to make sure that Divios, for the 3rd time in a row, takes the blue buff away from Benji right now. Already 2 levels ahead is Divios.
And not just the levels. Look at the difference in the gold, Toli. A lot of that just has to do with the push that Ravana has been able to put on Benji because of the lack of blue buff.
1,000 gold ahead is Divios, allows him to finish the Breastplate of Valor before Benji can, and that's going to allow him to tower dive if he ever finds a kill opportunity as well.
Yeah, no monkey business for the son of Wukong. No way, says Divios. See Xenotronics walking into the jungle. As his teammate back, Shadowq is going to go ahead and pick up, finish up the tank boots and then walk towards likely a Pestilence. We've seen a lot of Pestilences come out recently, even against compositions that don't have the healing.
Gold Fury is going to respawn in about 2.5 minutes, and all these buffs on the right-hand side are going to try to match it as well. Matt's going to find a little bit of poke from djpernicus. They're going to get pulled out, half health already. DJ doesn't even care. He's just jet streaming onto the side. He's like, hey, catch me if you can. Follow me into the jungle right now. I dare you.
Exactly, because he knows that he has a Divios and an Aror waiting for him in the wings should anybody from Denial decide to show up. But the Wolfpack plays it safe. They're not going to go ahead and get too aggressive. Instead, Denial's going to group up on the left side of the map and find nothing.
There is nothing for any team to take right now. They're on point. Eager's on point in terms of denying all the jungle side from Denial, and they're taking their own in response right now, establishing a very dominant experience lead between the solo and the jungle, both 2 levels ahead right now. And if Zad wants to play aggressive in the side lane, because of how much pressure Eager has throughout the rest of the map, he can look for a play in the side lane as well if he wants to.
And again, last game, this time we see the Gold Fury, so it's a little bit different, but Eager has still maintained a lead despite the fact that Denial got the first blood and the follow-up kill after that Gold Fury. And a lot of that has to do with what we brought up in game number 1, Anatoly, which was just the efficiency and how Eager are able to find all of these timers.
And now efficiency of djpernicus able to initiate, do damage, and then
that's
disengage.
Big. There's the ultimate from Xenotronics. He's going to turn around and try and get off his damage. Royal will be chased out thanks to it. In Denial, still in some trouble as Eager just pushing up. Here comes Benji, though. That's going to be a turnaround for the guys on Denial. Best takes a lot of damage, and Benji will put him in the ground, but not before Eager takes out 1. So Shadowq won't be able to belly flop anyone anytime soon.
And now Zapman makes his appearance into the fight as well. Speed buff going into the favor of Eager. Benji, Xenotronics using Purification, but he's going to die to the heart bomb from Zap, just standing still. It's like, all right, you got me.
Nothing for him to do, knowing it's inevitably going to come. And you can see Denial chased out into the wings. Solo lanes will meet up, and Divios aware.
So
Benji.
just like that, 2-for-1 in the favor of Eager. Despite forcing Aror out of that teamfight early on, it's an Athena who has her ultimate available to her to get back into the teamfight, so that doesn't even matter. Finding the best was nice, but losing your speed buff yet again, losing 2 members right now, you're going to lose your blue buff yet again. Denial's in a lot of trouble, and in order for them to come back into the game, they're going to have to seriously find somebody out of Eager, out of position, isolate them, and find a quick pick and reset.
Yeah, this is already a very, very one-sided game at the moment. Eager leading by about 3,000, but it's relative gold. And by that, I mean 3,000 at 11 minutes in means a lot more than 3,000 at 25.
And it's going to be dependent on how well Eager can snowball this lead right now. Gold Fury has respawned. They've taken the speed and the blue away from Denial, so they have the buff advantage right now. Best having red buff as well. Divios with the blue. They could look for a rotation right now. Divios has a very comfortable lead right now.
And this is also a very big power spike for Eager if they decide to take their backs, most notably the Hunter and the Soul Lane, both being level 12, whereas the only person on Denial level 12 is the Soul Laner and Hou-Yi. djpernicus with his extra relic can afford to be a little bit more aggressive. So just having that Aegis available where Batz does not can put Eager in a spot to make a play.
And Denial are going to wait for Eager to clear the ward. However, nice double taunt on Shadowq. Mass taking a lot of damage as well.
Huge poke. Zapman puts out the ultimate and takes out the damage. TheBest takes out the jungler on the other hand. And Denial in some trouble. djpernicus is going to chase on down Shadowq, giving chase on to the Raijin as well. But Vetium shows up and he's the new target. Zapman not as accurate as he wanted to be. And Vetium going to be saved by Raijin for the moment. But the pull-in from DJ is good enough. And TheBest puts him in the ground. 3 dead on the side of the Denial. Everybody alive for Eager. And they're going to look at the gold.
The repositioning from DJ wrapping around those mid-harpies underneath. Chasing Shadowq underneath. Just the speed buff and the use of the passive from djpernicus. There's nothing that Denial can do right now, especially with such an advantage that Eager has level-wise. They're controlling the map. They're controlling the objectives right now. Denial tried to find some damage as Eager was trying to counter ward, but it just wasn't enough as the return damage from TheBest was just too much for Denial to handle.
Yeah, Denial, basically their plan was to get in that corridor and surprise Eager, but the problem was Zapman's ultimate is so fantastic for those jungle, for those corridors and the mazes in the jungle. All of a sudden you're slowed and your jumps aren't available. Just trouble for the Wolfpack right there. And fantastic stuff coming out from the Cupid. And Eager wind up on top of another team fight.
And a lot of damage as well coming out from TheBest during that. Not only do you have the huge area of effect from the Cupid, from the Zeus, on top of that, it's just a huge Venn diagram. It's like, pick your poison. Do you want to sit in one circle or the other?
Exactly. You know, we used to see the old just ring around the ultimate, whether it was the Zeus ultimate or the Cupid ultimate coupled with the Odin that we saw in game number 1. Now it just, you create this giant area of Denial. You know, no pun intended with the enemy being Denial, but you can't walk where you previously were. You can't walk out of it because you walk into another bad spot. I mean, literally out of the frying pan into the fire. Where do you go?
It's very tricky for Denial right now. Like you mentioned, you have to pick your poison. If you want to engage, you're going to be either CC to death or you're going to just receive an exorbitant amount of damage.
And it's excellent for Eager since they have 2 options here as Best deals some damage. Nice hit through the wall for Xeno, but it won't be enough to chase out the Zeus. You basically have Fear No Evil going to be aggressing onto Eager, but immediately Denial has to walk away as Best shows his face. You're going to see Zapman's ultimate used aggressively. That'll be the initiation ultimate. With the slow and the cripple, it just puts people in a bad situation on the enemy's side. Whereas the Zeus ultimate will be used as the counter initiation. Denial jumps in on top of everybody. Down comes the rainstorm, and Denial has to be forced to walk away again.
And now Denial are going to have to force to do something on the side lane as it looks like Shadowq and Vetium want to play aggressive against Zap that doesn't see it coming quite yet.
There's a stun onto Zap. A little bit late on the purification. But there's the ultimate out of Athena and Zapman. Fantastic jukes to get away from the hit from Shadowq. And it looks like the Bacchus is going to pay. Zapman gets credit for 1. Vetium gets credit for the Zapman. So a Hunter for Hunter, or a Hunter v Hunter, as Shadowq falls, and Zapman does as well. And now the teams will meet up in the jungle. Vetium in some trouble now. You can see DJ going on the backside. Love that use of the teleport. Now it's a 2v2. Vetium with a great Sanctuary going to prevent some of the damage for the moment, but the rest of it comes a moment after. Aror with the shield wall takes out the Hunter.
Xenotronics trying to do any sort of damage that he can right now at the end of that team fight. Not going to find anybody. Benji going to use his Oxform just to disengage. Didn't want to get turned on 1v4. 1 taunt into Zeus Chain Lightning after the shield would have done a lot of damage.
What an animal. Now this Sanctuary out of Xenotronics. Purification going to follow up, and his death will be the third in that sequence.
Not having vision around that corner, Eager was still around there, so nice pick. Best is in a lot of trouble, forced to use both of his relics right there.
And there's that counter-engage Zeus ultimate with the Zapman large AoE. He can save that for when Zeus is in trouble, drops it right on down after the Fear No Evil, and Eager able to turn it around. Aror picks up one for another. 3 players dead on denial after already winning the last team fight is Eager. They're not able to get this tier 2, but they certainly won those last 2 fights.
Benji tried to find the return kill onto the best. Wasn't able to find it. The CC was too strong from Aror. The body blocks were good. The taunt was good as well. Eager just playing lights out, both offensively and defensively. They know how to engage, and they know how to protect each other as well.
16 on the clock. Eager running this game a little bit more handedly than game number 1. As the game got later, we saw Eager take a massive lead and eventually turn that into a win. This time around, it happened a little bit earlier, Toli. 10-4 already. Eager leading by, what is that, 7,000 gold? 8,000 gold? Yep, just about.
And even more experience on top of that as well. The only thing is, djpernicus is 3 levels ahead. Best, as a result, is only 1 level ahead just because of how far ahead DJ is. Normally, you would want your mid hyper carry mage to be higher level, but in this position, djpernicus has just been all over the place, and he's reaping in the benefits currently.
Very interesting how DJ is super ahead. He's 3-0-6. He's leading by 2,500 gold, and yet he still elects to go the defensive build. I love that choice. He knows his role.
He knows his role. He's going to be the facilitator of the beginning of a team fight, which is going to allow Aror to peel for the backline whenever Benji decides to show himself up, or whether it's going to be Mast or Shadowq trying to dive that backline. When you're going to initiate as an assassin out of the jungle, you better make sure that you're either going to get a kill or you're going to bait a lot of cooldowns.
And right now, that's exactly what the monkey's trying to do. He's looking for the kill out of the best, but that Spirit's Robe keeps him alive. There's the counter ultimate coming out from best. Xeno looking for the kill. Can't find the last hit with his basics, so just goes for the large teleport, but he trades his life for it as Divios is able to take out one, and Master falls as well. It's a 2-for-1. Make that a 3-for-1 as Aror stomps down on Shadowq's head. There's Benji following up. Ultimate from Zapman going to separate everybody. 4 are dead. Vetium unleashes the Suns. That's all he can do. Surrounded by Eager. This looks like it's going to be a deicide unless he can get out, and it's going to be a no. All guys on denial are dead. Eager have tripled the kills that Denial have to their name. They pick up a tier 1. They're looking for a tier 2 as well.
Gold here is up. The question is, are they going to go for gold after this, or are they going to try to push their luck into the Phoenix? Safer play would be gold, as 3 members from Denial are respawning. That's exactly what Eager is going to do, having a very commanding 11,000 gold lead at the 18.5 minute mark, right before gold here is about to be started.
A lot of what happened in that team fight was very quick, successive deaths. So when Shadowq spawns, everybody basically spawns for Denial. Shadowq, Xeno, and Mask would be able to defend that Phoenix, likely get a couple of kills as well as they're fresh out of the fountain. And Eager played safe, as you said. They pick up the gold, and already 5 digits in the lead. 12K, almost 13,000 for Eager, just 19 in.
Zapman being level 19 right now means that his healing is maxed right now, so that's going to make a huge impact in these team fights as well. People forget just how much healing that Cupid can actually do in team fights, and already sitting at about 2.2k healing, but that's coming out of a Hunter. You're not used to seeing this out of Hunters.
Yeah, it's just pure utility. And I mean, late game Hunters sort of, the abilities wind up mattering less and less depending on what the ability is. Obviously, a pillar is going to be excellent from minute 1 to minute 0, but I mean, Scotty's Ice Spear and On-Her Impale outside of the stun, you're really looking at the damage from the basic attacks. So by having one of those abilities be the heal, you're really not losing anything by way of late game aggression.
No, you're not losing too much, and the late game coming out of Eager is already online. A lot of teams aren't even in this position calling it late game, not even the 20-minute mark. Yeah. Currently, the Hunter's level 20.
Trouble for Benji. He's going to pop into the ultimate as Roar shows up. Tier 1 tower on the right side. Very healthy, actually. Not a lot of damage coming out from Divios onto it, despite being here very low. There's Benji getting pulled back in thanks to djpernicus, thanks to Xenotronics. Everybody from Eager going to go the opposite direction. As soon as it's done, Divios dives tower, takes out Benji.
Nice ultimate from Xeno, trying to bail out Benji in that situation. However, better purification and ultimate out of DJ as well to make sure that they find the kill. They're going to find the tier 1 tower, and they're going to control the right side of the map with maybe another blue buff steal, or maybe finding another pick as Shadowq enters the jungle.
It was also nice of Xenotronics. He showed up and he tried to peel for his teammate, but instead of committing too hard in an effort to save his teammate, he realized that it was all said and done and found the escape in the retreat. Aurora's going to come in, ult djpernicus, not going to find any of the damage, but the taunt on the Shadowq will be good. Masked ults on the back, no consequence. That's a different story. Ultimate from Shadowq on the 3 members of Eager. Still, no aggression. Shadowq half HP. TheBest finds a fantastic chain lightning. And Vetium just waiting on the left side, looking for Eager to engage real hard. And then he would likely ult, mark, and kill somebody. But Eager doesn't take the bait.
Despite Bacchus being that under level compared to the rest of Eager right now, just having his passive Drunko meter really high up makes him very tanky. Now, he just finished Spirit Robe and after he backed to that base. However, had he had that Spirit Robe available to him, he would take even less damage.
Gonna be rough stuff over there. 21.5 minutes in. Eager certainly running this one. Denial's going to head over to the Fire Giant and make sure Eager doesn't have too much vision on it, and actually just go for it. Interesting play coming here from the Wolfpack. You can see Zapman immediately ults, just pounding out the damage. Sanctuary is going to immune some of the nonsense that Fire Giant throws his way, and TheBest takes out Shadowq. Very curious play coming out from Denial, and they're getting punished for it. Eager show no signs of stopping. Mask is going to find an exit on the backside. Vetium going to follow his juggler, and Aror hard chasing Xeno. There's the root. Purification strong. Auror's dashing right as soon as the Sanctuary is down, and djpernicus finds the kill. Eager now aggressing onto the Phoenix, and with Vetium's ultimate down, that is a lot of playroom that Eager have for this tier 2.
Vetium tried to save his teammate yet again with his ultimate instead of Xenotronics this time around. Not able to find it. With those 2 picks right now, Eager set themselves up for this mid-Phoenix unless Mask can defend with his ultimate.
He's going to drop it, and 2 players go in opposite directions, but Zapman's still available, and Zapman's still doing his job, and Zapman's still taking out a tier or a mid-Phoenix. That is the first Phoenix of this game, and Eager will take their victory, walk into the jungle, strip everything away from Denial, and we'll see if they still have the gusto to go for a Fire Giant.
Just remaining consistent with their strategy as they're going to find another pick on top of Shadowq. Nowhere for him to go. Zapman credited with a kill yet again. Eager making a stand right now. They're going to go for this right side tier 2 tower before... No, they're not. They're going to do both, actually. They're going to go for the tower and the objectives.
Just clearing out the jungle here, preventing Denial. That's one of the my favorite moves that you see teams that are already ahead do. You just clear out the jungle as opposed to rushing the tower or whatnot, because the enemy can't farm their own tower, right? So you take away the jungle, you strip all the experience away, and Denial now, they have less tools and less options to get back into the game with.
And right now, with that tier 2 tower, it's going to be actually surrendered. Denial knows there's nowhere for them to go. They're down 17,000 gold with their middle Phoenix already down, without the Fire Giant as well. So at that point in time, once Eager gets Fire Giant, that game is done.
Yeah, it's pretty much just said and over with. So Eager, they win 2-0 above Denial, which means that Eager will go ahead and move up to seed number 2. That's the last puzzle to our puzzle piece. Let's take a look at the brackets for DreamHack. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the first unveiling of the brackets, and we can see some of the nonsense that we're going to get into over in Sweden.
And with that, Team Eager is going to face against Hungry for More. We're going to have Panthera against OMG. Enemy is going to be waiting for the winners between Brazil and LatAm at Red Candidates versus Chaos Latin Gamers. And then Paradigm on the bottom going to face off against Sword G2A.
So you see Red Candidates and Chaos and KLG. Basically, that's the Brazilian and the Latin American region. They're going to have to play against each other, and the winner of that goes on to Enemy, as you said. I think there's an extra E in there, but that's besides the point. You can see Panthera is going to go up against OMG, the Chinese team, and then we will see everybody else from North America and Europe compete.
I'm really excited to see these matches, how they're going to pan out.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a mini Worlds Invitational tournament. It's going to be interesting to see the Chinese and the Brazilian teams yet again.
Yeah, I'm just excited to see. I'm always excited to see North America and Europe face off, so I'm excited for that. I'm also just excited for a higher level of competition. The split has been great, and honestly, the split has been one of the more competitive splits that we've seen in Smite, in my personal opinion. But taking it out and just seeing the top of the best of the best of the best, sir. North America has shaped up very interestingly. Enemy with two E's will wind up on number 1. Eager solidify their number 2 seed with those wins against Denial. And then Soar will be the last team that we're seeing. They will face Paradigm.
And the rest of the squad right now, Luminosity finishing 4th, which was really interesting to see how they transitioned throughout the season, you know, picking up Snoopy and then Scary D. It was an interesting road for Luminosity.
Interesting, to say the least. So was this first set. A lot of Eager just sort of came together. We saw a little bit out of TheBest, a little bit out of DJ, and a little bit out of Zapman. Picking up the Cupid in game number 2, sticking to something a little bit more traditional in game number 1. Zapman has been very exciting here in Season 3, and today was no exception.
And this is just the confidence he has in his team. He's fighting with 1% health. He doesn't care right now. He has his team around him. However, he didn't spot out Benji coming in that one specific instance. And despite Eager being that far ahead, Cabragan Ultimate doesn't allow the Giannis to disengage. And the way Eager has been drafting, more importantly, have just been really on point.
Yeah, Zapman just finding the double kill there. As we were talking about a lot with Zapman on the Apollo specifically, his aggression and just his willingness to go in and take the fights. That's what we see here. A quick dodge at the belly flop, Aror comes down, and Zapman says, no, turn on this. Turn on this. We can find the kill. Vetium answers back, but Zapman still winds up on top.
And he never panics under pressure specifically. He's getting ganked by 2 members. He knows what he needs to do. He knows that he has Aurora Athena ultimate right around the corner as well.
And here we have djpernicus, another big part of what Team Eager was able to do here. And you can see just in and out, biding his time and waiting for the perfect opportunity to walk in. Never just going right in the middle of everything, waiting for his moment.
Just being very much all over the map right now. He's able to find a way to catch up to Shadowq as well, using the mobility from Susano's passive very efficiently, just switching from target to target. This is what you need out of a jungler, and the way he built also playing defensively, he knew his role and he executed it perfectly.
Look at that play right there. You see Xenotronics pounding the drums, creating a situation where almost like just a turret of bullets. You're unable to walk past this point. So you see the grab back from Susano, pulling the enemy out of that line of fire so his team can capitalize. You know what? I think djpernicus, I think gods like Circuit, Nemesis, and Old Ratatasker. The Mercury, again, and that fits perfectly with what I'm about to say, hypermobility and the ability to make cool-looking plays. Susano fits right on in there, don't you think?
Definitely right his style. And there's another style that you can find on Bonafide going on the flash sale right now. $10 shirts and $12 hats at Live BNFD.
Yeah, so they extended it. This was just for the first match, but surprise, they have extended it. You can pick it up for the entirety of the next set, if I'm not mistaken. LiveBNFD.com. They are spring cleaning, as their site says, getting rid of last year's stuff to make room for New Year's stuff. So it should be exciting over there. As we mentioned pretty much every time. It's definitely some cool stuff. So coming up next, we've got Europe on the docket. That means Panthera will be taking on Leftovers. Panthera has been one of the more exciting teams here. Me and Toli are going to stay on the desk. We hope you stay right there next to your screen. I'm going to grab a drink. You should too. We'll see you in a few.